and welcome back to a new episode and a fresh new topic in Just One Question. This is your host, Neelakshi Sengupta. And back with us is the author, playwright, producer, ANISH TRIVEDI. Hi Anish, welcome back to Just One Question. And today I'd like to know what is it that helps you to write? Where do you find that inspiration? Do you consciously search for some? Or does it come to you automatically? Tell us the secret, please.
Inspiration comes from within. I think you think of something, however small, however trivial that might be, and then if you have the ability as a writer to flesh that out, to build a bigger story around it, to take that one small idea and say, okay, this is where I'm going to take this, you have the beginnings of a story. What happens very often, and it's happened to me across all my work, is that I start out with an idea thinking it's going to go in a particular direction, and by the time I'm done, it's gone in a completely different direction, but it's still worked out as a story. So with that small idea, have I always followed it through in the direction which I thought I would? No, of course not. Have I been happy with the direction it's taken? For the most part, yes.
And controlling those thoughts are not easy. I know that one. But experiences of something that you may have read or an interaction that you may have had most often stays back in our minds, right? Do these impact your writing?
Well, I think the very simple truth about fiction is the fact that it is fiction. No, I do not write from real life experience. I do not write about my life. There is nothing autobiographical in anything that I've written. Do you capture elements of things that you have experienced, things that you have noticed, things around you? Of course you do. Every writer does that. But unlike a number of other writers that I know, I haven't taken elements of my life, elements of my story, and tried to build that into either a play, a novel, or a film. There are truths in all my stories. There are truths in all my characters, but I'm not one of them.
Ah, that is interesting. Please allow me to dig a little deeper then, Anish. Do contemporary socio-political situations impact your writing at all?
Politics has only entered one thing I've written, and that's a screenplay. And it was built not so much around politics, but the fact that the characters were in politics, or the principal character is a politician. But for the rest, no, I haven't looked at the social issues of the day to try and create a story around them. I haven't looked at newspapers to say, oh, that would make an interesting play, that would make an interesting screenplay, that would make an interesting novel. I think when you do that as a writer, you very often date yourself. And if you are going to try and write, the great books to me are the ones that you go back and read again and again and again. And if you find yourself writing in the context of a particular social phenomenon or a particular political environment, you very often have the possibility that you're not going to be read in posterity in the context of what you were writing. It's like cartoons, political cartoons. When you look at them now, 10, 15, 30, 40, 50 years later, very often you're staring at them blankly because you just don't get it. And I think authors can also fall foul of that trap if they're not careful.
That's such a great advice, Anish. But tell me, how then do your characters take shape?
I have always begun with the character and then built the story around her, around him. For me, particularly in theater, it's not about the story, it's about the characters. Do you make them believable? Do you make them likable? Do you make them someone you can empathize with? Do you make them someone you hate? Do you make them someone you want to shoot as soon as they step off the stage? It's about the character. It's about how you develop that character, how that character then fits into the story. I think without characters, without strong characters, without characters that the audience can love, hate. You don't have a play, you don't have a story, you certainly don't have theatre.
Okay, I get that. So tell me, characters are the central point of your plays, and that is what you start working with. I'm curious, do any of those characters reflect your own style of maybe talking, thinking? Tell us, please.
Well, with my first play, Still Single, people who knew me would walk out of the audience and say, okay, that was like sitting in your living room. Your character talks the way you do. I go, well, I wrote the character, so that's very possible. Now, do you try and keep that across all your work? I hope not. I hope you have multi-dimensional characters, you have multi-dimensional ideas, you have multi-dimensional voices that you can bring to your work. So yes, with my first play, certainly the characters sounded like me. By the time I got done with my third play, did they still sound like me? I hope not.
That's a very honest reply, Anish. Not too many people would be as open, I should think. And I have so much more to ask you, but that would be for another day. Thank you once again. Signing off now, folks. I will be back soon. Till then, keep listening in to Just One Question. This is Nilakshi Sengupta, and there is a lot more coming up soon.